Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Intel Extreme Masters Cologne. We are slowly getting towards the end of our first day here, halfway through the Open Bracket 2. There's a slow clap there. I don't know if that's for me or for the tournament. But anyway, people are tired, players are tired, Rhett's tired, but we're still ready for more action, which is good news, because we have the upper bracket final, which will determine the first player through from the open bracket. On the second open bracket, that is, already 2 through from earlier on. HyuN versus Patience. I already know, without asking you, where your heart lies, but talk to me about both players in terms of, you know, they've done really well. If you look through the bracket right now, HyuN's taken out Violet 2-1, Tarantius 2-0 earlier on, dumped him down to the lower bracket, and Patience 2-0 Lenok, 2-0 Grubby.
Yeah.
So really impressive run from Patience. The 17-year-old is really starting to show that he's got some real skills.
Yeah, I've watched Patience play against Lenok, and honestly, I felt very overwhelmed by his skill. Like, everything he was doing made sense, and it was just really impressive to me. And honestly, I don't get impressed that easily by Protoss players, historically. So to me, it really feels like he's doing something special. And I felt like he was showing like tournament-winning level play in those series. And then, of course, we have HyuN, who's like one of the original Zerg monsters, like going 14-0 in like IPL Fight Club all the way back then, and you know, showing consistent top results everywhere he goes. So it's a really, really sick matchup. I can't wait to see. Actually, I'm really excited just to see what happens. Like, if Patience brings the same kind of level of play, and HyuN brings this normal level of play, it could go either way. It's really.
Have you, just talking generally today, because it's been a really competitive couple of open brackets, is there anything that you've sort of looked at and gone, huh, that's actually really cool?
Yeah, I think what stood out to me the most casting the last couple of matches has been Patience's play. Like, I've played against him on ladder, and I felt he was really good. But then when I saw him play against Lenok, I felt like, wow, this is like next level stuff. Like, this guy is playing really well, like really dominant, like in full control of everything that was happening on the map. And of course, it depends a little bit on who you're playing against, if you can bring that. So if he can do that against HyuN, I'm going to have to call him one of the favorites, like, to win the whole thing.
Really? Okay. Yeah. To win outright?
The whole thing, yeah. Okay,
that's very strong words as well, because we saw some competitive play this morning and this afternoon from the upper bracket 1, so that's high praise indeed. HyuN has had, I would say, a reasonable 2013. He had a couple of big wins. He did quite well. We obviously know him for his actions as Spider HyuN at New York Comic Con. But he's not just a joker. He brings some serious game too.
Yeah, he definitely has always performed well. He brings top level play. He did so in StarCraft Brood War. He did so in StarCraft 2. He's had a bit of a rough patch with his team problems and all that. So, but I'm really happy he's continuing to perform, because he's definitely a top competitor. And I'm hoping we can see him as well in the main tournament tomorrow. So I'm kind of hoping that both of these guys, like HyuN because of who he is and his history, and then Patience because of the level of play he showed, can make it through. But this is just like a really, really nice preview of what we have to come in the next couple of days.
Yeah, it is. You're absolutely right. How have you found the casting so far?
I've really enjoyed it, actually. Like, I'm still here. I haven't lost yet, so I'm still really happy. Like, I'm not going to lose in the next couple of days.
Not been knocked out. You're going to be here for all 4 days.
I'm going to be here till the end, which is like a really new experience.
I was going to be cheeky as well, but you've taken it away from me. I was going to say you'll actually be here for a final, but you've kind of ruined the joke now, Rhett. What's it like casting alongside like someone like Todd compared to, say, Kalaris or Apollo? Because it's a very different dynamic.
Yeah, with Todd, I have to be really careful what I say, because if I say something that's a little too biased, I know he's going to jump at it. Just be like, no, man, it's not true. Like Apollo and Kalaris, they're really good at like kind of leading me towards like through the game and just asking me for my opinion. But overall, I really like the experience.
Okay, I'm going to talk to you probably. I mean, we talk offline anyway, but I'll probably talk to you after we get to the end of Intel Extreme Masters and ask you a question which you can't answer right now, which is, how different is it to actually doing it from sitting at home and talking about other people doing it? Because I think it's an interesting dynamic, and I know you've had some words. We've spoken at length about commentary and casters and what have you in the past, so I'll be really interested to find that out. For now, we're going to take a quick break from you, and he's going to go and watch the other game, which is the ZVZ in the lower bracket. We'll get some updates from him at the end of the game. So my thanks to Rhett. Right now, though, we're going to go over to our commentary team for the winners bracket final of open bracket number 2. It is Patience or it's HyuN, and one of them is qualifying for the round of 16.
Thanks very much, guys. All right, one of these guys will advance on. It will be either Patience or HyuN. You've cast a lot of Patience. I've watched quite a bit of HyuN, so it's going to be good.
Yeah, I mean, both of these guys, I've actually managed to cast them when they've been at their best, really. Patience playing at DreamHack Winter, covering his games throughout the last day was immense. It was a great experience, and seeing him perform well today. I cast 2 games already with Rhett, and he is absolutely, no doubt in my mind, like Rhett was saying, has elevated his play since DreamHack Winter. He's been practicing a lot, he's been messing around with different things, and he's just skyrocketing right now with his gameplay. But HyuN also, I was at the very first tournament that he attended in StarCraft 2, DreamHack Stockholm 2012. The same one that Thorzane won was the first one that he attended. And he's had a fantastic career. It took him a while to get the knowledge of how to play properly in StarCraft 2 compared to Brood War, because he was a very late switcher, actually, from game to game. But he is, I mean, I am quite confident in saying HyuN is top 5 Zerg easily worldwide in StarCraft 2.
Yeah, he's very good. I mean, even in ZVZ, I was watching him against Violet, and he was exhibiting some fantastic play there as well. Really on top of contaminates on hatcheries and upgrades and things, which are big prime factors in a matchup like ZVZ. But going into this matchup, not as much as we get into game number 1 here, but just in general. Alien Invasion picking up Patience and Revenge. These 2 guys really leading the charge for Alien Invasion. Patience is at the forefront of it. Can he advance on from this group in the winners match? We'll find out as we have his opponent spawning down to the south, our red Zerg, representing Team Roccat. He is HyuN.
DreamHack Valencia champion, last tournament he won. He defeated JVZ in Jadong final, put him into a 2nd place, or one of many.
And then up to the north, we have our blue Protoss representing Alien Invasion. It is Patience.
And Patience's games earlier just really good.
I didn't get a chance to see them at all, man, so you'll have to fill me in. It
was so clean, minimal mistakes, and even the one mistake he made, for people that watched it earlier on Yonsu, he sort of fall back a little bit and started to look like he was about to be overrun by Leenock, but was able to find his feet again, which is very difficult when playing against what it was then, a Zergling heavy style. Was just absolutely clinical, was so well-rounded, and even went to a super long game, was pulling off small little maneuvers, and just looked so much better than Leenock.
I'm looking forward to watching this game then, and especially casting it, as for now we have a gateway opener here from Patience, can lead into many things. Normally the gateway aggression, but
HyuN is actually, I'm not sure what the pause is here, but HyuN is actually loaded up for a 14 spawning pool. And by the looks of it, maybe aiming for 6 to 8 Zerglings for a Nexus cancel here. Patience has shown that he does like to open up gateway and just play very proactive from the get-go. And for the 14 spawning pool, he actually allows himself to have a little bit of extra lava, where he could try something like that. But I'm not too sure what the problem is right now with HyuN. He's obviously talking to the admin, as we can see on screen. But good for HyuN that he's able to resolve his problems over the Christmas period and is now playing for Roccat. And it's good. That's Demagogue and now HyuN, 2 players that they do support. And it's good because HyuN was actually doubting if he was going to stay in StarCraft 2, which was quite big considering his success towards the end of last year. It was massive.
It's very nice to keep him on, though.
Yeah,
very nice.
I mean, 2nd at MLG, 1st at DreamHack, 4th at Home Story Cup, 4th at ASRG, top 4 again at the Industry Masters New York when he had his Spider-Man outfit on.
That was pretty cool.
And everybody loves him, but this guy's very lovable too.
Yeah, Patience really making a name for himself at that previous DreamHack.
You just want to grab his right cheek.
You mean it's like Leenock's cheeks, basically?
Yeah, kind of, but this is like a little bit cuter, I think.
I like how you're actually pouring at the screen right there. Like you can't see that at home. Until I tell everyone.
Yeah, you can like grab it and you can twist his cheek a little bit. Yeah, he's a little cutie guy.
His glasses are very thick rimmed as well.
It looks like the game is going to be remade, which is why Patience is taking his headset off and is probably like, "What's going on, man? I thought we were playing on pole tonight. What? Why is it?"
He's like,
okay.
There you go. Look, now he's looking around.
I'm not sure. We're actually going to get a recovery in the game, so it's actually the right map.
Oh, okay.
I'm just not too sure what the problem was. So
I think maybe a hotkey was off or something.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know.
usually something small.
Yeah. So we'll be getting back into game number 1 in just a sec, guys. It's been a long day of StarCraft games, but it's certainly been a good one. We've had a lot of cool games, a lot of PvPs early on. But now a lot of ZVPs really showing their mettle. And then HyuN previously proving his worth against Violet in a very heated ZVZ.
Yeah.
But really did show like very, very strong class in that series. There was so much to talk about. I keep saying this. There was so much to talk about in that series, but there's only so much time that we have to actually elaborate on things without actually seeing the games firsthand. So, but at least we can bring you those snippets of information in between these things. I really like what we're doing. Actually, it's nice.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to check out the other games because there's a lot of focus on this mainstream. But it's nice to see what's going on in the other games here and there. There was a bug apparently with HyuN StarCraft, and he needed to restart. So he restarted the game. It's all good, and we're going to be jumping into this next map soon. But with HyuN edging out over Violet, finding himself in this winners round, this is a quite comfortable position for both players to be in. The winner of this is going to advance on to the group play.
Yep.
And from advancing on from the group play, great position. But then if you lose, you still have that other opportunity. And if you'd lost earlier, then it would be a lot more difficult, I think, because you got Leon down there, you got Violet down. It's obviously a very difficult lower bracket. And I think we're going to have to say goodbye to one of these good players. There's 4 left: HyuN, Patience, Leonok, and Violet.
Say bye to 2 of them.
Yeah.
In the end. Yeah. So very contested, very heated as, Leonok versus Violet in terms of a ZVZ. It's going to be interesting to see what actually happens there. But for now, we'll be getting back into game number 1 as everyone seems good to go. And countdown 3, 2, 1. Let's jump back into our first game. As you said, we had going for that 14 pool, so likely to see Zerglings on the way and try and get that Nexus, which has been actually working out quite a few times during this tournament already.
Yeah, he may try it. He doesn't necessarily need to. He could very easily just use the summoning pool in case there was an early cannon rush or some kind of aggression like that. Seems like HyuN has the same problem again. It pauses immediately and is going to have some admin request. Stan behind is laughing. He's probably tweeting his friends. God, HyuN.
He's like, I got eliminated. All that. But yeah, mine was a little bit more BM towards Stan, I guess. But anyway, we'll get back into this game in just a second. But, Rhett saying that Patience, could go all the way.
I mean,
it's tough, though.
I
The
like
groups
Rhett, think that he played really well, but I wouldn't go as far to say he could win the whole thing. I think that's a little bit too far.
The groups are stacked, basically.
I mean, it depends so heavily on which group he gets into. Remember the players that's still in this tournament: Innovation, Classic, Jadong, Dia, Jack G, Liquid Hero, 4GG, Rain.
The list goes on.
Patience is a big favorite to advance from the open bracket, but I wouldn't go as far as to say he can win the whole thing. If he does, then by golly gosh, that's massive.
That really would be, as those groups totally stacked. Not exactly the favorite to go into them, as you do have all those great names in. And we're going to be getting back into game number 1 in just a bit, which is going to be good. I want to cast some StarCraft. I haven't cast the past couple of series. So I'm looking forward to this.
Just 2 games left. Just this one and one more after it.
Yeah.
And then we'll be done for day 2, and we'll have the 4 players who will make it into the round of 16, where the actual prize money is spread across, the WC points are given. And the 2 players from this lower bracket will join Stardust and MC. So it is quite a star-studded lineup that we'll have for tomorrow's games, which isn't really too far away from starting. It will be starting at the same time that today was.
It's going to be amazing. I'm really looking forward to these groups. I think more so than any other Intel Extreme Masters we've cast this season.
I think you can say that this is the most stacked Intel Extreme Masters tournament there's ever been.
Yeah, I would go that far.
Especially, I mean, some of the World Championships back in the day were pretty good for the time, but this is just a different caliber. This is a top tournament right now.
Yeah.
The caliber of players that are in this has to be the most stacked. I mean, obviously you got Intel Extreme Masters Katowice, which will top that because the players that are already qualified for that
it's ridiculous.
Is absolutely incredible. But this tournament definitely going up there is probably I'm quite confident in saying the best Intel Extreme Masters player list so far.
I mean, as soon as we announced Katowice, and then people get those 4 invites that were very, very key, and basically when you got asked, if you didn't accept them, what on earth were you doing? So the people that accepted them at the very beginning were the tip-top players. You got Dia in there, you got Tasia in, you've got Jaedong in there. So really high contenders. Now, guys, let's get back into game number 1. And same spawning positions, so we don't really need to do the intros here. And we'll see if HyuN... No, Funko, we're not doing the intros, go away. Aw. Well... Yeah, so we'll see if he wants to go for the 14 pool again.
Yeah, I think they'll do the same. They don't know what each other opened with, and
yeah,
it's just kind of common courtesy. Not even common courtesy. I mean, it kind of is a little bit, but it's just normal to go what you had planned because it wasn't ruined. You had a reason for doing it in the first place. There's no reason to change. It doesn't make any sense if you were to change, really, unless you doubted it in the first place.
That's true. Well, Patience's place is piling down in exactly the same spot, and they'll go for that gateway opener once again. So, again, we mentioned that, you know, this does lead into those gateway pressures quite nicely for a Protoss player like Patience if he wants to go for that. Was he using those gateway pressures earlier in the time?
The first game against Lenok, he opened with a chrono boosted zealot, 2 zealots, a bit of a delayed nexus into a little bit of pressure.
Oh, nice.
That was like the only type of real pressure he put on. The rest was fake.
Okay, well, looks like HyuN also resides himself to the previous build again. A change from Patience as he takes the first gas geyser in an alternate location. So a little bit of change up from him, but not much.
Yeah, but overall the same.
Yeah.
14 spawn and pull into hatchery here for HyuN. So 14 pull, then 16 hatchery. Earlier spawn and pull, a little bit of a later hatchery, but I will see what's his lava count right now. It's at 1, and the spawn and pull, it'll have 2. So it's only 4 lings that he can build initially anyway. And then we'd have to wait, so it doesn't look like he's going to try to put any ling pressure on.
Yeah, not a whole lot. And from there on, I'm looking to see what Patience really going to do. He's already thrown down a cybernetics core. He's got 2 in each gas, so probably just going to go straight over to that Nexus, which is oh so lovely.
Yeah, the thing is with the double gas taken earlier here for Patience is it delays his Nexus a little bit because he's had to afford the assimilator, which is 75 minerals, and then he's got a couple of extra probes in, so he's actually mining more gas than the regular opening. And this is something that Rhett asked earlier, or was, you know, just wondering, does Patience have any more tricks up his sleeve? And this is a much different build. It's a gateway expansion. It's the same, but he's got double gas. Look at how much gas he's got in the bank already.
I guess the one advantage here, though, for HyuN is that he can get in there with that Overlord because of the timing of all of this and see exactly what's going on, see how much gas has been mined, and then react accordingly here. So we'll have to see what Patience wants to do, and then if HyuN's going to read it correctly.
Yeah, and Sean's just taking his gas anyway, and is just going to get Zergling speed and then take the game from there. So it's a Mothership core straight over to a Sentry here for Patience.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw something like a Stargate in the wall or something like that. That's always not too bad an opener.
Especially when you've got double gas like this. Unless you're going to go for a second Sentry, which would lead towards more of an attack or a faster third. Yeah, that seems reasonable for me.
Well, Pylon actually goes down in a very offensive and odd location there and then just cancels that straight on out. He realizes there isn't any ridiculously early third there just yet. And as you can see, HyuN has pulled out of gas, and he's actually going to throw that Stargate down in the base. Okay, so Sentry's moving into a position to try and deny the Overlord.
Yeah, and this is a nice build from Patience. Just Mothership Core Sentry, really, really good when it comes to, you know, having the ability to defend if there was anything. With the Sentry, going to have 2 force fields if there was an attack when Zergling speed finished, and then able to get a pretty fast Stargate too. And from this position, we should be expecting Phoenixes.
Yeah, I would like to see that from Patience.
You could go for 1 Oracle, but that's a little bit riskier. I think Phoenixes is fine from this.
Well, HyuN's thrown down his third now. There isn't going to be too dramatic a worker transfer over there just yet, as it'll take a little bit of while to properly kick in. There's the Phoenix on the way, and unfortunately, the Overlord hasn't spotted anything yet, but in the end, that Phoenix is probably just going to come out and chase down Overlords, and then he'll have a little bit of time to react anyway.
Yeah, he's going to know that this is a Stargate play.
He's even coming back in.
Seconds, yeah. So this is completely fine. He's going to know exactly what's up. And there is the first Phoenix, and then a hallucinated Phoenix to scan out immediately what's going on. So that's the use of his energy here from that early Sentry.
I guess to spot a few Lings moving on forward, so could technically wall this off if he wanted, but at the same time, the Lings aren't being too hyper active and trying to go in there, so For Hallucinate Phoenix, should have managed to spot that Spore Crawler, but I mean, after seeing Phoenix, you know that there's going to be Spore Crawlers going down, or at least revealing them.
So Patience, unlike the game he played against Lenok, is changing this up dramatically here. He's just now decided to research +1 air, and this is pretty big.
Yeah.
He's actually got 3 Zealots that have come down here. I don't think they've been spotted yet. Look at that.
That's so close.
They've not been spotted so close here. The next warp-in would be spotted.
That's this is a bizarre little thing though. +1 weapons that quickly.
Yeah,
for
he's
Phoenix.
gonna build a lot of Phoenix in this game.
Oh yeah.
The Zealots have been spotted now, by the way. And if he warps in 3 more, HyuN's gonna start it. Well, he's got a Roach one finished up. Here comes 3 more. So if Roaches start immediately, then he shouldn't really take any losses to this. But remember, this still, without Roaches being built, could be a problem. There's 6 Zealots, and the Phoenix is here to support too.
But this almost seems. Well, I mean, Patience here, we're going for the +1 weapons. I can only assume that he's
just not going to stop building Phoenixes.
Yeah,
you see a lot of Protoss players build 5, but he's going to go up to quite a few more. And they're actually very effective against Hydralisks once they're up in high numbers.
They're very, very scary.
But HyuN should be able to defend this. He's got Lings, he's actually got a full surround on the first one, and he's going to have Roaches out. So these 6 Zealots really aren't going to do too much.
Sees the 5th Phoenix flying over there as well. Once he sees more than 5, then you've got to have alarm bells ringing. I mean, 6 can happen from time to time. I think the 7th one is one that really will cause a little bit of a fluster. But there's the 6th there. So what? How is HyuN going to react to this? Right now he's sending the Lynx straight on over to go for a counterattack.
Well, so far he's just adding on more drones as he realized that pressure didn't really do anything. So far that he's playing this out completely fine. He's got to be very careful with his overlords, which he is, by the way. They're all rallied to Spore Crawlers, so he shouldn't really lose too much overlords, but he's losing a couple of drones here and there. And the Hydralisk is on its way. I wonder where Patience is going to go from this.
If he can catch the Hydralisks, because the +1 weapons is really nicely timed out to coincide with that Hydralisk den finishing.
Absolutely.
So if he does catch isolated Hydralisks, this is going to be a phenomenal
Look how
timing
fast
for
he
Patience.
kills Queens once he's up at +1 attack and having quite a few extra. Just sits over a Spore Crawler, picks off really, really fast.
HyuN likewise, though, should probably anticipate the fact that, I mean, he should be clicking on the Phoenix, seeing that there is +1 weapons, actually start for the finish for those and be like, wait a minute, this is a little bit out of the normal.
Yeah, he's already started. I mean, there's a lot of Phoenix here, so.
Yeah.
And third base is going to be taken by Patience. He's going over to Colossus as the next part of his build. So it is going to be, I mean, this is becoming more and more popular in recent times. Heavy Phoenix play, and over to Colossus.
And it's a scary thing to deal with for the Zerg, because once your Protoss opponent starts dominating the air with this many Phoenix, how are you supposed to really start dealing with Colossi numbers? There is an attack over at the 3rd, though, as those Zerglings do get pinned on back by those force fields, but these Roaches should be able to help quite considerably. The Phoenix have to come back and actually start picking up those Roaches. The Lings can be dealt with if he warps in a few more Zealots, and indeed he will do. Needs to micro back that Immortal, as that will end up falling. But there go the Roaches.
Yeah, he's going to hold on to this space. 20 more Lings are coming in, but he's going to be fine here. And obviously that's quite a commitment, and I'm interested to see where HyuN's going to go with this. He's starting Hydra speed, and I like that he didn't start the Hydra production until he could build quite a chunk of them. He didn't start building them in lower numbers. He just built 13 straight away. And the first Colossus and Void Ray is almost out here. HyuN is going to go for an attack, obviously, towards that 3rd. I wonder if it's going to be successful.
Whoa,
I'm not
17
sure.
Hydras.
18 now, yeah, that's a lot.
Jeez.
But I wonder if it will be successful.
But you're 100% right about that. If he'd have started those Hydras earlier, they would have just been picked off left, right, and center. So very, very clever by HyuN. He gets a good surround on here, but at the same time, it doesn't really matter. There's too much power. And he actually catches the isolated Hydralisks anyway. So this is really good play by Patience.
Yeah, really good play. And all he needs to do to just make sure that he has a massive lead coming into the mid-game is just prepare for this next assault. And I think he's in good shape to do so. He doesn't have that many force field, which is kind of bad, but I don't think it matters as much because it's only Roach Hydra, it's not like a flood of Zerglings per se. He's in good shape. He does have the Spirit about to finish up here, but he doesn't really have any gas to use it efficiently, and it has been spotted, bear in mind.
I mean,
with this 3rd base going untouched for Patience, he's in a really good position. Look at the supply count.
Yeah, I've got to say, Sean, I'm probably going to be stealing this build because this is really cool. Just picking off drones left and right. One Spore Crawler is certainly not enough to deal with those.
18 drones.
Such good damage been done. And he got so many Hydralisks during all of this as well.
Whoa,
so.
HyuN tries to catch the Phoenixes there, but just barely missed them. And with this attack coming in for HyuN, this won't work. This won't work at all.
No, even one Colossus with range is enough to shoo this off, as long as he's got the Gateway Force to help that out. And indeed he does, so easy peasy.
And HyuN's going to look for a different angle here. If he doesn't find an area to do damage or slow Patience down, Patience can actually turn this game around and be aggressive himself soon.
This is going to get really hard for HyuN, because not only that, but whilst he's putting on this pressure, the third base is going up. Whilst he's not getting his fourth base, he finds a little way in here with the Zerglings. That's a great opportunity here for HyuN to do some damage to his opponent's eco line. And he should be able to get a few probes from this. That's very nice.
Oh, Patience is chasing the main army too. He's caught a few Hydras.
Oop, and they're going to dissolve pretty darn quickly under the fire of those two Colossi. Void Rays also in the mix, actually do pretty well against Hydralisks when Force Fields are picking them back. This is kind of brutal. He's actually losing a lot of those Hydralisks for not too much, and he's going to chase down the rest of the ones as well that are fleeing. Bye-bye.
And now what we're going to see is the 13 Corruptor switch come in. He's going to make use of that Spire. Look at the units lost there. HyuN's lost so much throughout this game, but we have 13 Corruptors coming in. There is 3 Void Rays, 7 Phoenixes, but that's it. They're going to destroy the Colossus pretty fast, which leaves this army very vulnerable to the follow-up after the Corruptors. But right now, Patience is still pretty strong. He's still got the Colossus alive. He's still got the Phoenixes, which have been generating energy. They haven't been really used in the last couple of moments.
This army supply vastly in favor of Patience as he just marches on, denies the fourth base. He could quite easily walk home from that. But decides, yeah, he is going to. So nicely done here by Patience. Another fourth base is going to try and go up to the top left here for HyuN, but it's so close to that warping pylon that if Patience gets whiff of it, he can just warp in a few zealots from his main and actually assault that.
Yeah, ideally for Patience, just kind of keep building up a little bit here and then look to strike in the next couple of minutes. Not right now, as he's not quite sure what's about to pop out here for HyuN, but look at his army. It's increasing quite fast in its overall strength. 4 Colossus, 4 Void Rays, still Phoenixes around, and then Blink and +2. And Patience, by the way, Zealots on the left-hand side while defending his third. And as long as he does both at the same time well, this is a great move.
Yeah, the flock of Mutalisks scaring away those Phoenix for now. And, well, he's certainly going to have to find a good engagement route to deal with that. The Guardian Shield's very important. Will soak up quite a bit of damage.
Those Corruptors are scary, though. 15.
Yeah, it's a lot. I would have even liked a second Stargate after seeing something like this, but for now, he's going to have to deal with them with these Void Rays alone. They do activate their charge, and HyuN baiting that out and walking away. Very important there. He does have a little bit of an opening after that dissipates.
Yeah, and he's got to use Force Field as well. He cannot allow these Roaches to get up tight.
This is going to be hard. That Zealot warping that we were mentioning before is now going to town on that fourth base, and he's actually going to go for the assault. Will bring down one of those Colossi pretty quickly. Second one may end up falling fast as well. He's actually focusing down the Colossi with Corruption as well. Doesn't really care too much about the Void Rays, but he actually doesn't have that much anti-air left. So if he kills off the Colossi, the Void Rays are going to go to town.
The Corruptors just disappeared.
Yeah.
The Stalkers, the Phoenixes, and Void Rays together just disappeared. He has no anti-air left.
That's
and
brutal.
There's still Void Rays in the sky. There's still Phoenixes in combination. The 15 Corruptors, they look scary there altogether, but they just melted instantly.
This Phoenix opener is a really scary build. Like, really, really scary, because it doesn't leave the Zerg with many options. You go Hydralisks, GG, I'm going to be able to pick up them all. You go Spire, well, GG, I've got a really good route to transition to Void Rays, get some good damage done. And they have +1 weapons as well, which heavily benefits Void Rays that attack so quickly.
And look at this, this is game over, pretty much. This is an unbeatable army at this point, I'd say. There's only 3 Queens, which are lava injecting, and the additional 8 Corruptors, when there's still 5 Void Rays and all these Stalkers underneath. And Patience is just coming in. I mean, we see this counterattack from HyuN, but this is almost irrelevant when you can't stop the main army that's knocking on the front door. Yeah,
a few Roaches, a few Queens trying to hold on against this powerhouse army that now just presses its advantage at the natural is just, it's just done. HyuN can't actually deal with this at all. Of course he's getting a few probes back at home, but how do you combat that? GG. Scary game from Patience in there in game number 1. Scary, scary game. HyuN not best pleased.
Yeah, and lots of onlookers behind him. I think that's Sam and then Leenock to the right. And well, HyuN's got his work cut out for him now, coming into this next one. And all I can think about is what would Innovation have done?
What would Innovation do? Even in a PvZ.
Yep.
It's important. We got a lot of pictures about that, actually. Good stuff.
So Altazim Stronghold is the next map here. I wonder if, I mean, it's difficult to say if we'll see the same style come out again. It's a very different map and how it's going to be played out for sure because of the size in the early stages. But we could see the fundamentally same army composition come out from Patience, but, you know, using something else different again. Compared to his games against Leenock, he's changed it up once again here, and Patience continues to show great games here at the Intel Extreme Masters.
I mean, it could happily occur once again, especially on a map like Ultraseam Stronghold, where, you know, Zerg might want to go for air. Still, the +1 weapons for Phoenix really transitions on very, very nicely against that. It's just up to what HyuN wants, really. Like, what is he going to do to try and counteract something like that? Because it's really difficult. I can't even theorize an idea as to how you would deal with that if you're going into the mid game in that situation.
And by the way, Lenok did beat Violet 2-0, so moves on, and will be playing the loser of this next game, which makes perfect sense why he's watching it there.
I was going to say,
shoulders of Patience.
Yeah,
going to have to be thinking of some ideas if we were to see HyuN pull this around. But also more ideas for the future of this too, for the future of this tournament. Of course, Patience wins this next one. He's through to the group stages, top 16.
I mean, despite the groups being stacked, all these last stages of the open brackets are pretty stacked. You've got Patience going up against HyuN. You've got MC going up against people like San and Stardust. I mean, what is this weird, wacky world we live in? This is only the open bracket, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, the open bracket, and that's what actually I was looking on Twitter just now, and Violet did say that, you know, this is one of the hardest open brackets he's had to play in. And
wow.
Well, I think it's safe to say that he's played against HyuN and Violet, and Soke, and also Tefl before that. Some very difficult competition. But Violet now left out, so the 3 players remaining, HyuN, Patience, Lenok, one guaranteed through here in this next one. And then the other one has to battle it out with Lenok to find our 4th player that makes it into group play tomorrow.
What a tough spot to be in for, well, all these 3 players, apart from Patience, who currently sits at a 1-0 lead, looking super formidable in game number 1. He actually just ran over HyuN there. That was pretty brutal. Even though HyuN was pulling out some good moves, like, for example, saving to try and get those Hydras out all at the same time. And even then, Patience was able to isolate some of them and kill them off. So, a really, really tough spot. But the countdown's finished for game number 2. Ultraseam Stronghold will be our map. Patience and HyuN look to advance on in the number 1 spot in open bracket number 2. It's been a long day for all of these players, even if you've just come in halfway through the day and started playing this.
Had a great day at work.
Yeah, great day at work.
These guys have been grinding all day StarCraft.
They certainly have. And now we can get to game number 2, Apollo, for... see if Patience can advance on 2-0, or if HyuN can tie it up 1-1. All right. Well, spawning up to the top left as our Red Zerg, representing Team Rocket, looking to tie it up 1-1. It's HyuN. And down to the bottom left, we have our Blue Protoss, representing Alien Invasion, currently 1 game up. It's Patience.
Continuing to show good games. It's great to see.
Well. Patience. I mean, I didn't get to see the games before. I wish I did now, though, after seeing that first game. I'm going to watch the VODs, man. It's going to be great. I think he could just open the same. I mean, I don't see why not.
Yeah, he could open up the gateway and just go from the same here, definitely. We do see a lot of Protoss players do like to grab the Nexus first and play a greedier style here, but he is going to open up like that. And HyuN has sent the Overlord to the top right, not down south to begin with here, so we'll get the later scout. I wonder if he does take the double gas. We'll have to see here, because that's exactly what he did just now if he does, or if he's got other ideas planned. He's a player that doesn't really do the same thing very often. Does mix it up from game 1 to game 2, which is actually very good for his gameplay.
Yeah, I think the one advantage of HyuN sending his first Overlord, at least clockwise, is that if he has spawned up in that top right, then he can, and his opponent did open up Nexus first, then he can see it very, very quickly, and then maybe react accordingly depending on what he wants to do from there. But he's not going to get so lucky here in game number 2, as he just goes for his hatchery first. What a surprise. Very easy to get away with on this map. Yum, yum.
And then a gas, then a spawn and pull. Not the greediest of openings that HyuN could have chosen for here. And I wonder if Patience has plans, knowing that this map is massive. We do see a lot of 3 hatcheries here. If he had plans to be aggressive himself, but with the setup that he has and the chrono boost that he spent so far in the Nexus, he is leaning towards grabbing that Nexus himself very, very soon. And has sent out a probe to try to gather some more intel. Actually had a look to see if the first... That's very well timed, by the way.
Yeah, it really is.
Had a look to see if the Overlord had came from the top left and moved straight down. That was very well timed, actually.
Yeah.
Because if you look at it and compare it to the Overlord to the top right, it just arrived at the natural mineral line, and that's almost the equivalent of where it would have landed there. So that was very nicely timed there. Small little thing, but pretty impressive.
Patience really keeping an eye out. And, well, for now, we do have him just going to take that Nexus behind this. And noticeably did not cancel the Zealot, so he sends that straight over to have a little bit of a look around, see what's going on.
Yeah, scouting intel could have been used defensively too.
Yeah. Could have been cancelled for an earlier Nexus, but you got to be careful about these things, just in case your opponent really did open up, for some reason, aggressively, but it's very rare on this map.
Yeah, and he's always going to force out, you know, almost equal to what the Zealot's worth. If there had been a 3 hatchery or some greedy build, that he could have fallen behind if he hadn't built the Zealot with. So, but it is, as you can see, just going to go up there. Two Zerglings and Queens will be fine to do that. If he wants to take the third quite fast here, he would have to build a couple of extra.
Yeah, and Patience is going to be very happy to see that third isn't down yet.
A lot of Chrono Boost going into the Cybernetics core, by the way. He's
More
mining
gates.
3 and 3 at the moment.
It's going to be more gates, man. And he still
He
has
could
that.
throw down additional gateways. Like, he's got 2 at the front door, but he definitely could throw down a couple more towards the back left of his base.
That probe is on the high ground.
Yeah, I
Up in
think
the
he's
top.
got some. I think he's got a plan here.
Yeah, and it's a great position to throw down a pylon. I mean, like, is an Overlord going to see that anytime soon? Ha ha ha, no.
Nope.
So
Zergling gets in though. He doesn't see any more Chronobus going into the Cybercore. Actually sees it going into the Nexus, which is a bit of a trick.
ooh, tricky man.
You
Yeah,
want to get rid of that Zergling. You don't want that in there.
yeah. So those 2 gateways going down at the front, and he's going to start zapping away here. And oh, even catches it in the end with that sentry. So there is certainly an opportunity here for him to
A lot
throw
of
down a
gas,
pylon.
and even another Zergling. There's a lot of gas banked up here, and that one's got speed too.
All right. Well, I guess he was
300
looking for an
gas.
opportunity, right? But in the end,
He's still building the
tech.
pylon to the top right. I think he just needs to get rid of this Zergling and actually make use of what he's looking to do here.
Oop, almost lost that probe. If he wiggles on around, maybe tries to get it.
This is delaying him a lot, and there's more Zerglings coming, and they just walk in the front door, and there's even more behind that too, if you can see on the mini-map. Sees the Stargate. He's got to close this wall.
A little bit of an odd game here. Not quite what I was expecting from Patience. He threw down the Stargate, and then that Zergling like instantly saw it, and then more Zerglings get in, and now they're going to see it again, and not the best start here for our Protoss.
No, he's just let a couple of Lings in here and there, and his overall plan, I think, is a little bit disjointed. And he has thrown down the Stargate, which also has been spotted by these Zerglings.
I think he warped in a few units up to the top as well, so he is going to try that out, but
Yeah, looky over here.
the flurry of Zerglings now starts scouting out the absolute obvious place where our pylon normally is.
He's going to spot the probe and pylon. We'll be able to deal with that. You can build a couple of additional units too. 3 Zealots alone won't really do too much.
No,
Or shouldn't, at least.
and from there on, the layer has started, so an Oracle's going to come out from here.
And then double gases, so looking straight to transition away from this.
Yeah, and he is slightly supply blocked, which is going to hurt him pretty heavily there. He had to start 3 pylons at the same time to get that going. But actually, I really like what he's trying to do here. To focus down those Spore Crawlers, buy some time for that Oracle to eventually get over there.
That's nice.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, these Zealots will get cleaned up eventually. There's a lot of units on the way here. And with the Queen there as well, this is going to be cleaned up. But that Oracle is the bigger, more important part of this. There is a Spore Crawl in each mineral line, though.
Yeah, and the 2 at the natural are going to finish up. He might even cancel one of them. Realizing he only needs 1, especially with the Queen there, for the support. But Phoenix production begins from here on out. Once again...
No, where are you going, Oracle? Oh, the Spore Crawl repositioned itself.
I think he cancelled one, and then... Yeah, he cancelled one and then had to reposition that other one, so... He's doing all right, though. He's doing all right.
Robotics Facility and Forge is down here. We will see, by the looks of it, Patience look to take a 3rd base very shortly here, and he's timing it well, and has seen the Spire with that Oracle. That was a good scout.
Yeah, instantly.
Especially because he wasn't really going to be able to get too much damage done.
Yeah, so he's going to have to play out a bit more of a stable game from here, because it was a little bit of an iffy opener, as those sentries do amass up, and from there on looking to take that 3rd. But these Zerglings are causing a bit of havoc. It's hard to really get much done here. He needs to throw down even more force fields. He does trap some of those Zerglings in. He isn't going to lose any of these sentries just yet.
And with killing these Zerglings, that allows him to take the 3rd base quite easily.
Yeah.
Very interested in the Warp Prism here. I'm not exactly sure how he's planning to use this.
I mean,
he hasn't even thrown down the Robotics Bay here. He's just thrown down the 2nd Stargate after spotting the Spire, probably expecting Mutalisk from this position. Actually even uses the Oracle to spot the third base here and everything and all the movement over there.
I think just to keep his opponent on his side of the map, right, whilst he builds up this Stargate build, because he's adding on 2 Stargates. So,
but this is very dangerous, and the reason why is just because the Spire is about to complete, and if we see some Mutalisk be made, isn't this Warp Prism just going to get picked off immediately if that was to be the case? And that's the only information that he spotted was the Spire popping out. In the circumstances that we see, it's roaches, so it's not as bad.
There's a lot of roaches as well.
I think that's kind of nice. A lot of roaches being built because he's shown that this, or not really shown, but the Spy had been spotted and then he built roaches, which means Phoenixes are going to be built, which means then that the third base is going to be harder to defend with just Phoenixes. But this is a nice play from Patience.
Yeah, he absolutely had to keep these roaches over the other side. Otherwise, that third would have, I mean, once clear a Constitution would have done, it would have done a lot of damage to his opponents, well, to the Protoss third. So, but to the chopper! To get it! Take it away. Good job, Sentries.
And now the Mutalisk coming in. Void Rays are being made, having spotted the roaches, not the Mutalisk, but now the Mutalisk are being made.
Just back and forth, man. Back and forth. And keep switching.
But there are 2 Phoenixes out, and they're looking around. He's got to get some more intel. What is he going to find? He sees Lynx.
If he can spot a muta,
roach,
then
he can switch over very fast. He's got 3 Stargates.
Exactly.
It's ideal. And +1 attack about to finish.
Phoenix are going to just tear them on a new one if he does spot that one.
Tear them a new what?
A new glaive worm hole. There you go. So
They now shoot an extra glaive worm.
yes. Actually, that would be sick. But also kind of broken.
Still hasn't really spotted it. He sees the units outside his base with the Warp Prism. He's got Phoenixes on the left-hand side. That's kind of smart because obviously if the Mutalisks come down that way, he's going to spot them.
Does he spot it? Well, he spot it. The Zealots are on the right-hand side, actually. Looking to go to the fourth.
He's going to see the Mutalisks on the left. He spots the first one.
All right, so it's Phoenix. Phoenix, cancel all the Void Rays.
And now he's got to start building more additional ones. Yeah, he's actually going to lose the 2 Phoenixes on the left-hand side. And the Void Rays and Mothership go, do not go towards the Mutalisks.
No, they don't want that fight.
crazy.
Well, it looks like they're going to have
with
to
the
take
Guardian
that
Shield,
fight.
5 Void Rays, that's okay.
Yeah,
but the 2 on the left before are a little bit scary.
There's the Phoenix now started here. If he kills off 1 or 2 of the pylons next there, that'd be great. But at the same time, the third's going to be assaulted. That's going to go down. Oh, HyuN, what a fantastic move. Not only fooling Patience,
that was nice.
Very, very well done. Really limiting how much Patience is going to have to spend here. And now 3 Phoenix at a time. It's going to be hard to actually afford without those extra gas geysers.
That was a massive, massive win there for HyuN, destroying that third base. Just because, like you said, you can't really afford to be able to keep up with what HyuN's doing at the moment, who's on 4 bases. But very smartly, there is that pylon on probe still up to the top right. If he's able to kill the 4th base, and he's able to reset his third and get that back up and running, it does equalize a little bit again.
Yeah, that's absolutely what he has to do. And he can afford minerals because, you know, he's only really kind of pumping away at 3 Stargates worth of Phoenix. And, you know, everything else can go into Zealots here as it will equalize out quite nicely. Picks up the Queen once again to kill that off. Well, great micro actually cancelling that first pickup so he could keep that Phoenix alive. But he absolutely has to be very, very careful. Those Mutalisks. He doesn't have Anion Pulse Crystals. He doesn't even have a Fleet Beacon, so the micro is going to have to be on point for Patience.
And here we are. We're watching that right now.
And, well, that's quite a high Phoenix count. It's going to be up to the Corruptors to try and zone this out. Patience has to pull back for now.
Unfortunately, that 4 Zealot attack didn't do that much there. That would have been ideal if he was able to get something dealt towards that base at the north. And there's even a 5th base coming in now for HyuN. He's starting to run away with this one, and Patience needs to find his way back into this. The Fleet Beacon's coming in, more Phoenix are being made here. But the income difference between the both of them is just skyrocketing now in favor of HyuN's army and overall supply. Look at it, 175 to 123.
I mean, that's the one disadvantage that we've been seeing here from Patience is that because of the timing of his robo, because he only had 1 observer out that wasn't really scouting as diligently, and because there were always Spore Crawlers trying to zone that observer out anyway, he never really got the full intel that he needed to when the units were popping out there and then. So all of these things have lined up for HyuN to take a great supply lead, get all his upgrades going as well. I mean, these Phoenix have got
does
so
he
much
even
work.
have enough on the ground to help against all these Lings and Roaches?
It's a lot.
That's a lot on the ground, and there's very minimal units here for Patience, who's had to really cut resources and cut budgets for the gateways.
Yeah, and Impulse Crystal starts. Photon Overcharge will push those Zerglings away, but meanwhile, this Air Armada for HyuN is going to lay waste to this 3rd base, zoning out those Phoenix nicely with the Corruptors. At the same time, though, they're going to turn around for the fight as those Void Rays try to work on those Corruptors, but it's just not enough. He doesn't have the firepower to really deal with that fully.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of Phoenixes, but what is he going to deal with all the Lings and Roaches? And not much. And HyuN will tie this series up, and it's not going to be a walkover from Patience. Geeky grin.
He like took a drink of the Sprite. There was no like Sprite left. He was like, "Oh wait, I'm on camera."
Yeah. And I think it all came down to losing that thirds. That was a massive cut in the income of Patience, and he just wasn't able to keep up from there.
Bit of a brutal spot there. But Patience going into game number 3 now. Let's see what he wants to do. Clearly, he's really favoring this Phoenix play. Obviously, you know, I've seen that Stargate. Yeah, you kind of need it. But still, Yonsu will be the map of choice. Bit more aggressive here.
Yeah, this is a much better suited map for Patience coming into this.
Yeah, could certainly go for that gateway aggression, make that happen a little bit over at the third, or even a natural, depending on how we see HyuN open.
Yeah, there's a lot of options for him to choose from here, which is why I think it's really good. He can be very aggressive from the get-go. He could play an Immortal push. He could take a fast third and play mind games. There's just a lot of different things he can choose from coming into this. But overall, HyuN's got to enter this one defensively with a defensive mindset and playstyle, because if he just makes a mistake and doesn't spot something coming or isn't prepared, then this can be an easier one to walk away with. Protoss players have, well, I think it's pretty safe to say have got a bit of a better win rate on this map than most against Zerg. So this is definitely in favor of Patience, the map, but HyuN's a great player and definitely can win this, and it's all for grabs. Definitely not. I think this is really 50-50 coming into this one.
Yeah, it certainly is. HyuN's shown time and time again that in the heat of things, he's been able to prevail. So now we go down to the final map, which will be Yonsu. HyuN has already shown as well that he's able to do pretty well on this map itself. But after seeing game number 1 from Patience, I can't help but feel that well, especially even game number 2 as well. I think if just 1 or 2 things had been tightened up, it could have done well. Because those Zerglings at the beginning bought HyuN so much time to do what he wanted.
Yeah, HyuN was really a master of just kind of not allowing Patience to get a proper understanding of what's going on.
Yeah.
Because he saw the Spire, then he saw the Roaches,
Back and
then
forth.
the Spire was there, and then it was used, and then it wasn't used, and he just wasn't quite ready. He didn't see what was coming.
A tricky guy indeed. So let's get into game number 3 and find out who advances onto the group stages tomorrow or the day after, depending on which group they get allocated into. As we have Yonsu map number 3. And spawning up to the top right-hand corner as our red Zerg representing Team Rocket, it is HyuN. And down to the bottom left-hand corner, we have our blue Protoss representing Alien Invasion. It's Patience.
And I think that was the weakest game we've seen from Patience so far this tournament. I mean, it's very early days, but that wasn't quite to the level that we saw him against Leenock, and then, of course, map number 1 here. Definitely going to tighten things up coming into this decider.
Yeah, it's a little bit easier too, I would say, on this map. I think this map's a bit more played out than Ultrazeem Stronghold. I don't think everything's fully been figured out on Ultrazeem Stronghold, despite these guys playing it on ladder over and over and over. Yonsu's been around for a hell of a lot longer.
Yeah. And this is, I mean, the winner of this does get that minimum prize pool set of money. It's like $350 for finishing top 16. And then, more importantly, just get the option to play in groups. And did they get drawn today? Is it usually on the
I think it's right.
day?
Yeah, I think it's right after. So we will know
cool
tonight.
to see the groups.
Yeah, it's going to be great, actually. I'm really looking forward to that. Because, again, the groups are so stacked, and then we have the 4 players that are going to be qualifying going into them. It's like, oh, these are going to be the best groups ever. So it's going to be nice.
All right, so this is Hatchery first here. A little bit risky coming out from HyuN. But he is... we did have a drone to go down there to scout, just in case there was anything there.
I have a question. Did Patience at all open Forge Fast Expand?
Nope, not yet.
No. So it's
Not
all
today.
been Gateway all day long?
Yep.
Okay.
But I don't think HyuN would have seen these games against Leenock, because at the same time he was playing Violet.
Yeah, he was. So, but that's important. Like, I mean, aside from maybe someone in the back's told him, I don't know. But that is important to know if you're going into a series against someone. If Patience has been exhibiting, Gateway Expand every single game, and a little bit of Mortal Kombat up to the top.
Yeah, and the Zealot should be cancelled here. He's seen that this is Hatchery first, not Spawn Impulse, so he doesn't really need the Zealot.
Yeah, he sends that probe down there. It's perfectly timed out if he just cancels that to go for it. And there he does. And now we have Nexus. So Patience looking to at least sit around on 2 bases for now. I'm really curious to see what he's going to do. I would love to see him go Stargate once again because he looked so strong in game number 1.
Yeah, last time on this map, he played a chrono boosted Zealot into 2 Zealot Mothership Core, kind of fake pressure, forcing Lings out. Used it twice in a row. He's like, went up there, came back, then went up there again, came back, and actually took a 3rd base while feinting real attack because he had such a high sentry count. It tricked Leenock a little bit. And he was able to play out a really solid game overall after that point. But coming into this so far, he's taken the 2nd gas quite early.
Did he take the 3rd base in the previous games up to the northern position? Or?
Yes.
Okay, I was going to say. So, right.
Yeah, and with the 2nd gas coming in, it's not going to be a gateway focus play. Unless it's very sentry-based.
Well,
which shouldn't be the case here. It should be a tech choice. And having seen what he liked... Actually, I was going to say, I may have been expecting a start kick coming, but Forge is down here. Which is usually going to push us towards, obviously, a +1 attack aggressive play, or +1 attack to take a 3rd base. You don't really take the Forge this early on, obviously, because you want to use the tech structure to harass your opponent. You're not going to get Forge +1 attack and then get a Stargate.
Do you think from Patience we could see a +2 Blink follow-up?
Yeah, he likes that. Yeah,
that's certainly on the cards as
but
well.
That's after his 3rd's been taken,
yeah.
so he may take a 3rd from this. He may also be aggressive.
I mean, just in general, that's just a really strong build that we could see come out from him, and it's especially strong on this map as well. If you're able to establish yourself on the high ground above that 3rd base, that can be so exploitable by force field positionings and Blink as well. Yep. So you got to be careful here as HyuN.
Whereas HyuN's played he's played gasless for a long time. He's played a 4 queen opening, and then has taken the gases on the natural and straight to layer here.
Whoa.
Rather than getting Zergling speeds, actually cut that out of his build and decided to throw down all 4 gases.
He crazy.
And the Roach Warren coming down too. And he doesn't really... he hasn't picked up too much information on what his opponent's doing. He hasn't seen the Forge. He's seen the gateways come down. It is going to be a fast 3rd base coming out. And the creep spread's pretty good already here from HyuN. Really pushing forward.
The only thing HyuN's really keeping good eyes on is the gases at the natural.
Which
they
haven't been
seen
taken.
The 3rd. Oh, he's not going to see the 3rd for a while.
He knows it's either a 3rd base been taken or that it's a gateway attack.
Yeah.
And from this position, I mean, Burrow is kind of good all round, I suppose. He's good both ways, but we may see Tunneling Claws. With a fast layer like this?
That would be cool, actually. This could do really, really well. I don't think he threw a cannon down at the front, did he? Or did he?
Yeah. I mean, we won't see Tunneling Claws straight away, but Roach Speed and then eventually that we could see come play.
Well, the one thing you normally see from the Forge player in general is at least 1 cannon at the 3rd, right? So that will be a little bit of detection, but not a whole lot.
This should be enough here for him to know that this is going to be most likely a 3rd base. With the late gases and still no movement out, it's way, way too late to be an attack. And he can probably guess that this is the 3rd.
And I'm currently discrediting the idea of a +2 Blink play since we don't really see a Twilight Council just yet.
Not yet.
Which would have been timed out nicely previously to this. So if
be
it does
careful
come...
not to lose this 3rd too, remember.
Yeah, he certainly
He hasn't
does.
got too much firepower with this movement out. It's more to get a couple of units out there. And he's going to see this is really, really late.
Well, as I said before, I mean, this position here with force fields especially is super strong. Now, he could force field that off between the ramp and the hatchery, and then if he wants to, after the cancellation, just recall straight out.
That's a nice cancellation. He's got a Patience in this game, needs to lock down his defense. The Twilight Council's come into this game. It is a little bit late to get +2 attack and Blink on the way, but if he plays a solid defensive game, he's going to walk away with this. This is I mean, he's on 3 bases.
Yeah.
He's got a great income already. He's got a higher income than his opponent, but we do have Roach Speed on the way and quite a few Roaches here. HyuN has now definitely spotted exactly what his opponent's up to.
And he's going to go
including the Twilight Council and Blink. And I really do like Patience's position.
I'm a little bit scared of that Twilight Council position, actually.
Yeah.
Maybe he sends like Roaches down there or something and tries to snipe that out. I mean, it would be kind of difficult to do in the end unless you're being super, super sneaky. But with Tunneling Claws, it's possible.
Well, there is Tunneling Claws, as you know. I thought we'd see that.
Yeah.
He's got the Infestation Pit too, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Swarmhost come into this game. It's a great Swarmhost map. HyuN definitely not afraid to play what's best in his eyes, no matter what his preferred style is. Yeah, and there is the Enduring Locust coming in. So Borrowed Roach is into Swarmhost play, but still he hasn't really done anything to punish his opponent. But his composition he's looking to build is obviously great against Blink and Blink Stalkers and Immortals.
Yeah, and those roaches going to break down those rocks. We're looking to see where HyuN's actually going to go with these roaches. That will have tunneling claws pretty soon. If he breaks down those rocks and then uses them for a later stage, that'd be great. What does he have?
Really good scout by Patience. He spotted the infestation pit really fast in this game. Threw down the robotics facility, robotics bay. I think we may see a second robotics facility come in. He really needs to climb up in his Colossus count. That's going to be so important to combat what HyuN's going up against. He's got to try and kill these roaches.
They're completely trapped. Actually, they can't get out. Even with tunneling claws, they cannot get out.
Yeah, so he's going to try and get what he can with these roaches.
Yeah, that's the best way. Maybe if he could get that immortal, but he's going to try and just run straight on past anyway. There's an immortal there, second one, then decides to go. It recalls back to the third base. Actually,
definitely an opportunity to move forward, I think, from this position. He's killed off a lot of roaches. He could poke down forward, start clearing creep, because this creep's getting quite heavy out, as you can see.
Yeah, and complementing Swarm Host there is going to be difficult really to deal with if he lets that get out of hand. The fourth base is on the way as well. You break down those rocks, so
7 gateways.
This is okay. He could actually hit really hard, but the Swarm Host number is counting up, Sean.
Yeah, he's at 8.
He's going to have to avoid
Locust
them.
about to finish as well. He's moving forward to kill this creep, but when he sees the Swarm Host, he can't really fight with this army composition he has. One immortal just died instantly.
Oh, poor little guy. The thing is that I think if the +2 and Blink had been timed out like super well, Patience could have hit a brutal timing. But as this game continues on, it's just, you know, he's moseying around, having a look. He's killing off a lot of creep on this right-hand side. That'll make his bases over on the right-hand side eventually very strong. And nice force fields. Does catch those, but tunneling claws, good upgrade.
Great upgrades.
Oh, and whoa, hold the phone. Hey, this is crazy. Actually blinking straight up onto that high ground, force field and that off. He can't continue that on for much longer, and we'll have to eventually evacuate out here. He doesn't want to lose too many of these stalkers, but he's going all the way back to this mineral line.
He's losing his sentries and immortals, though. This is a very creative play, but I'm not sure if it was the best play. I mean, he's got the stalkers in the mineral line, but they're actually going to burrow here, and there's no detection.
Well, that is one advantage of having burrow at this particular point in time. But he's making so many roaches, and he can follow this up with a really strong attack himself.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Patience is getting a little bit tired here, but he's definitely not playing to the same caliber he was playing earlier on. I think that he needed the second robotics facility much faster. He's taken a 4th place up to the top left here. And he just doesn't have quite the army composition that he needs to deal with Swarm Hosts at this moment. He's trying to get there. But he's lost a lot of sentries. He lost all his immortals. He's only on Stalker Colossus right now.
I'm going to say this is an ambitious base placement. Anything further than that is not really warranted. Crazy attempt there. But, well, for now, HyuN is in a good spot to keep piling on the pressure. He did get 2 Robo facilities, so he will have double Colossus production, at least.
Yeah, the thing is, you don't need to be super high with Colossus. I think 4 is more than enough against Swarm Host. Once you just get rid of the waves, you don't really need to dedicate that many resources over to Colossus. And there's a lot of roaches in this too. It's going to give him the mobility to move around, keep the 4th base away from Patience, which is trying to get established down in the bottom left, while just keeping the siege up on this left-hand side here. Warp Prism's been made, so he is going to try and get behind enemy lines.
Thankfully, 4 Patience +3 weapons just finished up. If he controls this with Blink well enough, and maybe, well, he's going to try and pincer on in here with the Colossi as well. They're a little bit vulnerable if the roaches had fleed out there, but at the same time, he could have blinked under them and tried to help them out as well, so that would have helped out considerably. So Patience holding on strong, warping in 10 stalkers at a time. Wow, that count's really going to rise very quickly. He actually blinks forwards here, trying to catch out a Swarm Host, will do so.
Yeah, 23 roaches being made to help these Swarm Hosts out. They're kind of all alone.
Yeah, it's a little bit.
And a roach counterattack too. It's going to pull. It's going to pull Patience back when HyuN, I think, was at his weakest until those roaches popped. But he's not going back yet. He's going forward. He's really powering through with this.
It's such a strong army of those Blink Stalkers. Yes, they will take some damage from those Locusts for a while, but with those 4 Colossi there as well.
Yeah, that's perfect. Just the 4's a perfect number here to deal with the Locusts.
It's a good timing. There's really nothing to deal with Colossi. There's no Vipers, there's no Corruptors. This is difficult.
He's a beautiful counterattack here by HyuN, coming from behind, looking for the Colossus, but he's on top of the Swarm Hosts.
Oh, catches one of those Colossi, will take down the second one as well. Once all those die, that's going to be great, but as you said, all the Swarm Hosts are dying at the front. This is really back and forth. The very vital units for both players are dying off here.
I've never seen a Protoss player try to be this aggressive with Stalker Colossus and just pushes through. There's no spines, there's no real protection to the Swarm Hosts, and he powers through. There's of course the counterattack going on here by HyuN, but he's never going to be able to rebuild strong enough, I don't think, to be able to combat what Patience has.
Yeah, with the 1 Colossus now lingering here, and +3 Stalkers with Blink, roaches are not going to cut it against that army. So Patience here is hit.
I mean, they both
a nice
swapped
time.
their economy. Look at it. They've both completely been gutted.
Yeah, it's
But
19 works 24.
HyuN surely cannot build an army to stop this now.
Yeah, I don't think so. He's going to try and amass roaches in his main base, but realistically, how well's that? Oh, wait, whoa.
What?
Okay, oh no, wait, he has 4 observers, it doesn't matter. I was like, don't lose the observer, but then, yeah, he has 4, which he's currently sacrificing one of them to spores.
He doesn't have enough gas to build another one, but he's still mining on his 3rd, so.
Yeah, he'd be alright.
Well, it looks like, I mean, Patience has played this out just... That's how I like to describe his attack there. Just super
Yeah.
heavy and Stalking just powered through.
Yep, and he did well with it. He really did. This base is completely laid to waste, and a few Mutalisks coming out to try and aid the war effort, but
Well, I
in the
don't
end,
think that's going to help, is it?
I don't think so either.
That's a lot of +3 Stalkers.
Wait, where did all the observers go? Oh, they're back here. Never mind. Blinks right on top of them, kills off the rest of these roaches, and that's going to really do it. Oh, actually, he caught the Colossus.
I don't think Patience was one of the players that a lot of people looked at that second bracket this afternoon and said, yeah, he's going to go through. I think the focus was on the 3 Zergs, HyuN, Leenock, and Violet, and look at this.
Patience decides to run through them all and is like, no. More Protoss for the win, and he's doing all right for himself.
And that means we got 3 out of 4 slots so far have been awarded to the...
it's just like GSL.
the Protoss players. And this has Patience just played this much differently than what I expected him to do. And HyuN was just very caught surprised by this, as you can see.
The Swarmless play didn't really work out for him too well, to be honest with you. There you go, GG. There we go. Patience advances on through the upper bracket final. So congratulations to him.
Yeah.
And now HyuN has to go down to the lower bracket to face off against Leenock for that final spot.
2 friends going to go up against each other down there to decide who will join Patience, who has joined up in the top there, Stardust and MC. Congratulations to Patience.
Really impressive play.
Yeah, he really powered through that lower bracket. He went through Grubby 2-0, Leenock 2-0, and then HyuN 2-1. Nice play by Patience.
The one ZVZ that we actually haven't seen during this entire tournament is HyuN versus Leenock. So nice to see that is going to be our final game of the day. See how they're going to match up against one another, because we had HyuN versus Violet already, Leenock versus Violet down in the lower, and now HyuN versus Leenock for the trifecta.
Yeah. That'll be a good game actually, because they both know each other's style and know each other very well. That can create some dynamic games.
It certainly can. So that's going to be coming up in just a little bit, and again, that will be our final series of the day. But before we get to that, we'll send it over to the ever so lovely Red Eye.
The ever so lovely Kalaris is such a nice man. No pay rise though, sir. Doesn't work like that. Anyway, another game down and another one in the history books, which means, sadly, we only have 1 game left. Sad days. But it's okay, because we've got 3 more days of StarCraft 2 to come. From tomorrow onwards, of course, the group stages start. Group A and B, C and D on Saturday, and then the quarters, semis and grand final for Cologne 2014 at the Intel Extreme Masters will take place on Sunday. If you don't have your ticket yet, then you need to make sure you've got them, because we need you to come down here on Friday and Saturday. They're the only days that aren't sold out right now. Sunday is absolutely sold out, and a very special ticket is on its way to a man called Gumba from the Team Liquid Reddit live thread. So if you participate and you show passion and you support the right Terrans, I can give away tickets. It's that easy. We're going to take a very quick break now, but when we come back, we will have our last game of the night to decide the last place in the round of 16.